I'm Victoria Schofield, and my project is about the planets and their connection to Greek and Roman mythology and why they're named after the Roman gods. First, we have the 7 planets besides Earth that have Roman names. Pluto is not included due to its demotion to dwarf planet in 2006. First, we have Mercury, Hermes in Greek. He was the messenger god due to his speed and winged feet. You might remember him from the movie Hercules. Appropriately, the planet orbits the Sun in 88 Earth days, giving it the fastest orbit. But ironically, a single day is twice the length of a year on Mercury, making it 176 Earth days. Second, we have Venus, Aphrodite in Greek. She was the goddess of love and born of a mixture of sea foam, semen, and blood after Uranus was castrated by his son Kronos, who was Saturn in Roman mythology. She was in love with Mars, also known as Ares, the god of war. However, she was married to Vulcan, Hephaestus in Greek, the god of volcanoes. Her temperament was fickle and she was easily angered. So fittingly, the planet has a toxic and volatile atmosphere paired with a volcanic surface. The planet was named after the goddess of love because it's the morning and evening star, the fairest of all, and the first and last star to be seen. Third, we have Mars, also known as Ares, the god of war, and associated with red, the color of blood. Iron is responsible for the red color of blood and the Martian surface. As befits a war god, Ares had a temper and is covered in scars, aka canyons and craters. It has the tallest volcano in the solar system, Olympus Mons, and is prone to sandstorms. In fact, a Martian sandstorm killed the rover known as Opportunity in 2018, though attempts are being made to recover it with our current Martian exploration. The 2 moons of Mars are named after his sons, Phobos and Deimos. They mean fear and dread. Next we have the king of the gods and the planets, Jupiter, also known as Zeus. Jupiter was the god of the sky and storms, and the planet is appropriately the largest in the solar system. Jupiter had a volatile temperament and was associated with storms and thunder. Appropriately, the Great Red Spot is a giant, ferocious storm that has been raging for thousands of years. The planet's stripes are winds moving in opposite directions. So each stripe you see is moving in a different direction from the one before. And its various spots are also smaller storms. Several of its 79 moons are named after Jupiter's lovers, more often than not his rape victims, including his cupbearer Ganymede. Next we have Saturn, also known as Kronos, the god of wealth and agriculture, making his rings appropriate. He was married to Rhea and is the father of Jupiter, Neptune, Pluto, Juno, Ceres, and Vesta. He ate each of his children until Rhea smuggled the youngest, Zeus, away and tricked him into eating a stone instead. Eventually, Jupiter and his siblings overthrew him and began their reign. Next we have Uranus, a god of the sky. He was the husband and son of the earth goddess Gaia. Every time she bore him a child, each of whom was a Titan, he shoved the child back inside her. Eventually, Cronus decided to overthrow his father and castrated him when he was trying to have sex with Gaia. Then he threw his genitals into the sea, resulting in the creation of Aphrodite, also known as Venus. Appropriately, the planet Uranus is blue like the sky. Now we have Neptune, also known as Poseidon, who was the god of the sea and the oldest of Jupiter's brothers. Neptune and his two younger brothers drew straws to see what they would rule. Neptune got the sea, Zeus got the sky and earth, while Hades got the underworld. The planet is an ice giant, and most of its mass is appropriately composed of water, methane, and ammonia over a solid core. Like his brother Jupiter, Neptune had a temper, and the planet has supersonic winds, and like its planetary brother, it has a gigantic storm known as the Great Dark Spot. Its 14 moons are named after lesser nymphs and sea gods from Greek mythology, including his son, Triton. Next we have the dwarf planets, named after Greek and Roman gods. That includes Pluto. First we have the most well-known of the dwarf planets, which is Pluto. Its status as a planet has been a matter of discussion for many, many years, and it was officially decided that Pluto was a dwarf planet in 2006. That was quite the shocker to me, as I was 14 by that time, and I had been called upon to list the planets in class, and I listed all 9, and then stared at my teacher like she'd grown a second head when she said that Pluto wasn't a planet. It is named after the Greek and Roman god Pluto, also known as Hades. He was the god of death and the middle brother of Jupiter and Neptune. The 3 brothers drew straws to decide who to rule the sky, sea, and underworld. Hades drew the short straw and got the underworld. Appropriately, Pluto is a cold and dark dwarf planet, far from the sun's light, and its heart actually is mostly composed of nitrogen ice, carbon monoxide, and methane gas, meaning it would be deadly. Its largest moon is named Charon, after the ferryman who brings souls to the underworld. Another of its moons is Styx, the river that Charon brings them across. Another is Nyx, the night, goddess of night. Then there's Kerberos, aka Cerberus, the 3-headed dog, and then the Hydra. You'll remember the Hydra from Hercules. Surprisingly, it does not have a moon named Proserpina or Persephone after the wife of Hades / Pluto. Next we have Ceres, which is found within the asteroid belt. Its Greek name is Demeter, and she was the goddess of grain crops and harvest. She is also the mother-in-law of Pluto, due to him marrying the goddess of spring. And it is one of the few planetary objects to hold the seed of life, water. As a result, scientists would like to search it for potential signs of life. Last but not least, we have Eris, another dwarf planet farther out than Pluto. It is named after the goddess of discord and strife, and its moon is named Dysnomia after Eris's daughter, the goddess of lawlessness. Little is known about the distant dwarf planet, and it is around the same size as Pluto and was originally believed to be larger. It lived up to its name by causing discord in the scientific community over the definition of a dwarf planet due to its size.